Hey, how's it going in the studio? Since we are currently on Sunday, every weekend I'll be trying to take some time and reflect on finance as well as other areas which might be important with regards to finances. If anything, I have identified five different areas, fundamental areas, which are important to understanding finance and where to begin. First area, there's going to be five in total. First area would be budgeting. Budgeting is the process of creating a plan for how you will manage your money. It involves estimating your income, uh, perhaps to some extent, or if you already know what you will be bringing in, so how much money is coming in, as well as expenses, how much money is coming out, right? Or specific period, so whatever that would be, perhaps with a matter of 3 months, typically monthly, quarterly, or annually, and ensuring that your spending aligns with your financial goals. Let's take a look in more detail. What can the budget reflect? Income. Start by identifying all sources of income, including your salary, rental income, investments, and many other sources of money that you're receiving regularly. If you're currently exchanging time for money, perhaps you got only one source of income. Perhaps you might be interested in starting your next job. A lot of people are currently starting a next job, which is great. It's something that I did myself. It's a good thing to do. But from that point, perhaps if it's something that you are interested, perhaps exchanging knowledge for money, that might be other way to do it, right? Expenses. List all your expenses, both fixed and variable expenses. Fixed expenses are those that remain relatively constant each month, such as rent, mortgage, insurance, and loan payments. Variable expenses can change from month to a month and might include groceries, entertainment, and digital, but it doesn't matter. Even right now, some information that I'm reading here is not the best way of doing it. Best way would be having a 100%, right? So once you have 100% of your income, you can allocate 70 to perhaps cover some of expenses, 10% covers savings, and 10% perhaps to charitable causes, as well as perhaps 10% for just in case money, right? So you have some cushion there. So perhaps there's other ways to think about it, which would be more structurally sound methods of doing it. I have completed a course on this particular subject for people who are interested in finding out more and understand this subject. Within the course, I'm highlighting 12 different areas which I personally believe are very important and trying to become better, more effective performance individual. Within those areas, you can understand better some of the things that haven't been taught in school and where to begin when starting your career in becoming more effective, right? So feel free to reach out to me. It's on my company's website. If you have any questions, if you'd like to find out more, within this course, I'm sharing a lot of information that I personally believe would benefit large groups of people. Next step would be categorize expenses. Categorize your expenses to get better understanding of where your money is going. If anything, bring your conscience to where actually spending your money, and perhaps, if anything, reflect on that and where you can potentially overpaying for things. Perhaps you can make or cut the bleeding by taking a look at how much time or how many times you would go to the city instead of perhaps stay at home and making some food. Would that be 60 quid what you just spend in the city? Or you can spend six, right? I don't know. It just depends on the people and their habits. Sometimes people would pick up a better habit and will stuck with those not necessarily habits that will benefit you in the long term, right? Some of those areas can potentially include housing, transportation, food, entertainment, and overall savings. Set financial goals. Determine your short-term, long-term financial goals. These may include paying off debt, saving for retirement, building an emergency fund, and saving for vacation. Again, if you had 100%, that would cover all of those areas, and that would give you some understanding where to begin. If you were to set those goals, for perhaps if you stick with those for 6 months, you would understand perhaps or view things differently. No one's teaching anyone in those kind of things in school, so so everyone need to find out for themselves what would work for them. Perhaps trying different things, see what would work, what not necessarily work for everyone, right? Uh, Once you have a budget, perhaps tracking all of your spending, keep a record of your actual spending to ensure that you are staying within your budget. This can be done using budgeting apps, spreadsheets, or even pen and paper. So, if a lot of people looking to increase their income, perhaps even before doing that, perhaps reflect on where you can save money. From there, perhaps optimize your time, how you can use your time better, or how to your money better, and from there you can begin looking at different areas, right? But if anything, perhaps cutting the bleeding where you're overspending for things. That could be other way to look at ways how you can improve your budget. It says just as needed. If anything, I would highly recommend to sticking into everything to 100%. Right, once you agree that 70, 10, 10, 10 would be optimal for you to do, I would highly recommend to sticking with that for a minimum of 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, right? Once you stick for that long, it would become a habit that you will stick to, and unless your circumstances will change, where you move to a different place, perhaps find a better job or whatever case might be, right? Then you need to adjust it, but not necessarily because you want to spend more on groceries. Emergency fund. Prioritize building an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses. It's recommended to have at least three. I would highly recommend to have at least 6 months. Not that many people have, statistically speaking, not that many people have that. So, or everyone perhaps should have that. So, if any takeaways, that would be perhaps putting 10% of overall income that you're having to aside and have that as emergency fund. Paying off debt if you have high interest debts. Some of the credit cards can be 20%, right? So perhaps paying off those, it would be one of the high priority things to do, such as credit card debt. Consider allocating extra funds to pay it down. Reducing debt can free up more money for savings and investments if you can, perhaps with high interest. So whatever interest you might be paying on the money, borrowing money right now, it's one of the worst times to do, just because of the banks and what's happening in the world, right? Save and invest. If you haven't done it before, I would highly recommend to perhaps begin as early as you possibly can. 10% of your income should be allocated for savings and 10% for investments, right? Make saving a part of your budget, contribute to retirement accounts, invest for long-term goals, and save for major expenses such as down payments or in a house. If anything, 10%, that would having goals, sticking to those goals. That's overall budget planning and long-term planning. Everyone needs to start early, right? So perhaps what to do with the money, we can address that a little bit later, but currently perhaps to begin by saving and perhaps building so some of the budget for investment in the future. That would be one way to perhaps not losing money, right? If anything, instead of buying ice cream, which might be interesting thing to like pleasure that might bring to you for instant pleasure, but not necessarily that would work in the long term, where your investments could potentially be making your money. Review and reflect. If anything, you can set a date for taking a look if you are sticking to your 100% and allocating all of your finance to 70, 10, 10, 10 when reflecting. But either way, if anything, reflect if there is a better ways of doing it, even for groceries and how you're allocating some of the money for groceries if you're sticking within the budget. If anything, that will be not necessarily adjusting the budget itself, and staying disciplined. If anything, myself included, we all could always do better in this area. Budgeting can help you take control of your finances, reduce financial stress, and work towards achieving your financial goals. It's a valuable tool for managing your money effectively and ensuring that you are living within your means. Once you have a budget, once you begin just understand more about how money works and how you can perhaps make your money work for you, you would start thinking differently about a lot of things, but not that many people are thinking that way, right? So if anything, start with a budget over periods of time, in different seasons, right? There might be some summers, might be some winters, right? You would start understanding. So once you have some of that budget, right, you can make potentially you can make better decisions with your money, how you can allocate money, how you can perhaps invest your money and all that, but that's down the line. In the beginning, starting block would be having a budget. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.